gentlemen, say the line. Fix your game, CG. My gosh, what a mess we have today. The Punishing One, let me tell you, it's a punishing experience in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, both on the pros as well as the cons. I'm tangled up. Where was I? Anyways, people, today we're going over our initial impressions, review, gameplay, whatever you want to call it, of the one and only, the Punishing One. My goodness, this ship is so good. Too good, to the point where literally moments after the event started up, CG said, it's under investigation and it might be nerfed. God dang. First up, I want to say, don't want to get too carried away because I already had a little spiel about this yesterday on stream. Okay, long story short, this ship is so good at 3 stars, 7 stars. You're basically getting a free massive boost for Executor where you can take down things like Leviathan, but literally moments. It wasn't anything like too unique or, like special, having to do something crazy. Literally moments after you unlock the Punishing One. You're getting this ship to take down Leviathan. And somehow they didn't know. Huh? Excuse me? I don't know what to say. My soul is literally broken. There's only like two fleets to test against. If you're for the Executor, you test it against Profundity, and you test it against Leviathan. How? Can someone explain? Anybody? All right, so where to begin, my senores? I think the first thing I want to start off with is just quickly, what's the difference between a 3 and a 7-star Punishing One? So I'm going to show on the screen here a little before and after that I did a comparison on my free-to-play account versus the Big Daddy Whale account here. The most important thing that you're going to be seeing differences primarily is speed. And yes, there's going to be a little bit of a health boost that you're going to be missing out on, but primarily speed, and it's quite a big. We're talking like 25, 30 some speed that you're missing out on here, and that's kind of a big deal. Yes, Punishing One has a lot of ways to ramp up its speed, but if you're already down by that much, it could definitely alter the performance of how this is going to work, especially on defense. You're going to want to start off with the Punishing One in your opening lineup. Right now, the go-to forte, at least for offense, it feels like, is going to be your Razor Crest, Standard of Blood, and Punishing One. And you might think that the fleet might be a little bit less than durable when you don't have Houndstooth. That is not the case. As we're going to discuss with the Punishing One, this thing has a crazy unique ability, the Jumpmaster 5000. And as I've said before, if you're looking for a brand to trust, it's the Jumpmaster 5000. They have done 5,000 iterations of this ship. So you're buying a brand you can trust. Hashtag sponsored by Jumpmaster. That's a sponsorship I'll take any day of the week here. But this unique ability is going to give you tons and tons of speed. But more importantly, are going to be bounty hunter attackers, I should say, are getting 100% bonus protection. Can I say that one more time? 100% bonus protection here. And this is why we're seeing quite a big health pool on the Punishing One. Number one, bonus protection is based off your max health. How is this thing altering the Executor, altering the deal, dare I say, up against all the Big Daddy capital ships? And then we'll talk about the defensive aspect of this as well. Well, apparently so good. Somehow, I don't know. Maybe they had Chirrut Imwe test out the game. I mean, I feel like that's an insult. I feel like at least Chirrut could have felt that something was a little bit off with his gameplay. But literally, the first thing that people did, reasonable people, like, if you are having Executor and you got a fleet arena full of Leviathans, what are you going to test out? You're going to go up against Leviathan. And literally, I got nonstop reports before even I started drawing blood on Leviathan that people are like, dude, my 3-star Punishing One is getting work done. And guess what? Papa Arnold saw the same result. We are literally bursting massive damage on Leviathan lines. I think what's really happening here is that we are getting so much breach on the enemy. It's just, it's insane. It's absolutely insane how fast we're getting breach out there, which is making our ultimate on Executor go way darn fast. First off, when you have breach, you're getting minus 25% health. That's a big chunk of change. that's happening out there. I mean, that's not even funny. That's a ton that we're getting out on the opposing team. And when you're getting things like that, when you're getting Breach out there at such a fast rate, and Breach is doing even more deadly things. We see already the other Bountyhunters, they bring deadly things when it comes to Breach, but when it comes with the Punishing One, yeah, when you're reducing the enemy's max up by minus 25%, yeah, that's obviously going to speed things up quite a lot here. And when we're able to get that ultimate so quickly, and we're having all this damage, which, by the way, the basic is so good, especially up against Leviathan. The basic ability here, it's basically like a Dash Rendar. And basically where you can hit multiple instances. Target enemy is breached, target enemy is marked, target enemy is target locked, which you get a lot of that in an Executor lineup, especially when you're going up against the Mark 6, you know, the little annoying B1 battle droid looking thing out of Leviathan. Like one basic, like chops it down by like 10 stacks or something nuts like that. That's really helpful to work through a Leviathan. But when you're getting your contract so quickly, when you're getting all the locked breach and target lock in almost instantaneously, it feels, and more importantly, in the opening play, you're able to take down the third member, whether that's Sith Assassin, whether that's the TIE Dorito, the TIE Dagger, to be more important, to be more specific, because especially a triple attacker lineup, you have 3 units that can call each other to assist. Executor's got a swarm attack. Razor Crest can ignore taunt and target Sith Assassin. Call in, for example, your Dengar to assist, doing a lot of damage on that basic. Xander Blood's got an AoE as well that can call in someone to assist. And Dengar, turn 1, can ignore taunt. You're already taking down some of the big hitting characters on a Leviathan lineup. So, again, it's kind of funny. I don't know how you can possibly miss this, but somehow they missed how Executor interacts with one of the more dominant fleets in the game. There's only 3 of them: Executor, Profundity, Leviathan. It's not like it's maybe the character meta where you got a lot of teams and there's a lot of, there's a lot of compositions, theory craft that can maybe happen. There's not a lot of theory craft when it comes to ships. It's one of the most cookie cutter basic things in the game. Let's go talk about some of the other fleets, which unlike Capital Games where they think there's probably like 50,000 fleets they have to test, there's really only one of their fleet that's kind of important, and that's Profundity. Back on Profundity. This is a battle that is just an absolute cakewalk, especially when you're on offense facing Profundity. Profundity's going to call Dash Rendar to assist. And normally that's super annoying, but keep in mind, first off, another thing about boss, Punishing One here. When the enemy capital ship is taking a turn, they're reducing their critical damage on their team by 100% for that turn, which means swarm attacks get massively nerfed. So when you're talking, for example, out-of-turn attacks from Dash Rendar, that's kind of a big deal. Or when you're going to a Negotiator, being able to call everyone to assist a Negotiator, that's a big problem. So besides reducing the cooldowns quickly on the death mark, as we're about to talk about here, when people are attacking out of turn, you're also just having your damage reduced, so it's not doing as much. And especially when you have so much bonus protection on the attackers, these attacks out of turns, they aren't scary anymore. But the reason why this battle is such a cakewalk, Leviathan, you got to work a little bit. Here, it's so easy because the opening play, they're going to be swarming right away, and immediately, basically, you are going to be able to use your special ability, Wanted Dead. We're not taking people alive, my friend, when it comes to Dengar here. Being able to get your death mark out there, which normally has a cooldown of 9, pretty much turn 1 up against Profundity. And remember, we can ignore taunt. I mean, you can ignore taunt anyways because there's a Rebel Wiling, but ignoring taunt, landing a death mark on Millennium Falcon, and then nuking him out, it's basically a game set match. So if you've ever struggled with Executor versus Profundity, you shouldn't have any more struggles anymore. So yeah, Profundity, I would say easy lineup. It's like it doesn't even matter what you have, it feels good. So I feel like at least in this regard, I don't think CG is going to be nerfing this. I think they're more concerned about Leviathan. I get so frustrated thinking about that. Like, come on, man, we can do better than that. Gosh. Anyways, Profundity locked in, easy money. However, we're going to talk about the defense with the Punishing One, and then there's one more other thing. If you're one of those mad lads that still like to do Executor mirror matches, you're a glutton for punishment. I try my best to avoid mirror matches if at all possible. But if you're someone that's rocking a lower star Executor and you normally find yourself outgunned at the beginning, enemy Executors, they're blitzing you down straight off the get-go. Well, it's so much easier now. And I almost prefer being slower than the opposing Executors because they're going to open up, they're going to swarm me, and then basically I get my turn 1 death mark when it comes to our beautiful, beautiful Punishing One. And if I'm able to throw Death Mark on Razor Crest, game over. Throw Death Mark on Houndstooth, easy money, my friend. So it doesn't prove that. If that's something you do care about, because you're a little psycho and you like your mirror matches, I think it's going to help out a lot. The thing that really matters about the defensive viability of the Punishing One here is looking at the common counters. We're talking Finalizer, we're talking Negotiator, and we're talking Chimera. Those are pretty much the three non-GL counters that you have for it. And let's first talk about the Finalizer. Now again, this is a 3-star Punishing One. And it seems like there's kind of if and buts and coconuts. You got to do like a little mental flow chart. If the opposing Executor has Razor Crest, Punishing One, Houndstooth, it looks like Finalizer can still win. Get your hunted over around the Houndstooth, make sure it's not doing anything, and just make sure you're blitzing down the Punishing One. But will this work against 7 stars? I've had some people said they tried it against 7 stars and it seemed to work fine. It might be. As long as you get that big burst damage, you could be okay. But if you don't get Punishing One down in those first opening plays, you're kind of screwed. Up against the triple attacker Executor, I'm talking Razor Crest, Xander Blood, as well as Punishing One. I would not recommend this because just like normal triple attackers, there's a 66% chance you are going to get screwed. They're either going to swarm down your Kylo Ren Mask, that sucks. They're going to swarm down your Kylo Ren Command Shuttle, that sucks. But if they swarm down the TIE Fighter, you're good to go here. So again, it seems to be mostly the same like before. So, however, I would probably not recommend starting with a TIE Echelon. Because why? It gives you stealth at the very beginning. And what happens? Dengar is going to dispel the stealth, and then he goes under stealth, and you can't go for him. So TIE Echelon seems like it's not going to be the go-to here. So I was able to beat it, and, at a decent, consistent basis, especially the non-triple attacker. However, what would this look like up against a Dengar that's faster and more durable and a little bit stronger? Hard to say. So again, I don't have that experience to really tell you, but I can tell you right now, I'm having some success. It might translate over to 7 stars. It might not. Next up, we're going to talk about the Negotiator. Now, the Negotiator is kind of funny. Like we said, I can get Profundity to beat the Executor, at least at the 3-star Punishing One. You can also get Negotiator to beat certain, it feels like certain lineups. If they have the triple attacker lineup, we're talking Xander Blood, Razor Crest, and Punishing One, it feels like Negotiator can still win. Just don't use the swarm attack at the very beginning. You have to hold off. It feels weird. Just do the basic on kill. It feels really weird. I know, even myself is like, what the heck? This doesn't feel right. But as long as you're not swarming at the very beginning, that would trigger the death mark on Dengar, you can probably pull it off the win. Again, just gotta make sure you knock out Xander Blood pretty quickly or Punishing One, whatever's the opportunity that's open before Houndstooth comes out. You're good to go at that point. Yeah, but the problem is, I don't know what a higher star Dengar is going to look like. It might not work, especially with a faster Dengar. This could be a big problem because especially on his ability here, Disruptive Combo. It's got to buff this spell, which is a pretty big deal. Gets rid of the taunt you place on your Bad Batch Martyr, which kind of sucks. And also, it forces Houndstooth the taunt. So if Houndstooth is there, now this makes things a little bit more complicated where he's going to taunt even when Houndstooth is stunned, ability block, boss can get helped out by Dengar. But light side enemies are going to have 50 speed less when Dengar uses this ability. That's a problem. And I don't know what this looks like at higher stars, but if Dengar gets out there potentially at a better opportune time for himself, this could throw it off. So again, I'm beating 3 stars. I don't know if it's going to beat the 7 stars out there. That's going to require a little bit more time. Again, pretty scary stuff that's going on with Dengar. And I guess the third thing, which is a really wild thing going on right now, and it's Chimera. So we're supposed to have anti-Chimera stuff, or anti-TIE Interceptor stuff, which it does seem to work. It reduces evasion, critical chance by 200%, so Imperial TIE Fighter as well as TIE Defender are supposed to be nullified. And we saw that quite a lot where my TIE Defender would just never crit. And if TIE Defender's not critting, it's not getting Foresight. And without the Foresight, it's basically never dodging because of minus 200% evasion. However, there are some times where it seems like it's not working appropriately, where sometimes I feel like I have like 200% critical chance and 200% evasion. I had a clip one time where my TIE Fighter dodged like 10 times in a row. It's either I'm super lucky or the game is super bugged, and I don't think I'm that lucky of a person, let me tell you here. So there might be something weird where even though there's 200% evasion and critical chance reduction, maybe he's boosting it sometimes. I don't know. And then even sometimes I had my TIE Defender constantly crit, even though I'm not supposed to be able to crit with 200% critical chance reduction. So a little bit funny, but I've been able, for the most part, to get my Chimera to still beat Executor with Punishing One. A little bit messier. The common theme that I'm seeing between all these is that if you're letting the Executor roll, they're hitting their ultimate pretty fast. Especially like against me fighting Leviathan. I'm hitting my ultimate so quickly like I've never seen before against Leviathan. We're seeing that with the lights and stuff. You got to be careful. You know, Profundity, you know, with Negotiator. They might get their ultimate really darn quickly. Anyways, we talked quite a lot about this here today, people. There's a lot to cover. Long story short, this ship is amazing at 3 stars. It's amazing at 7 stars, that extra durability, the extra damage, and more importantly, the extra speed that we're going to be half cooking on here. However, I can't promise you if this is going to still work as amazingly as it is currently up against Leviathan and CG. Come on. I mean, shame. I mean, this isn't like something stupid like, oh, Marok's Unique's a little bit off. Okay. This is so obvious. You only release 2 ships in a year, and there's only like, 2 fleets you got to test for Punishing One. And you failed us on that. And people are spending tens of thousands and eventually millions of dollars a month on your game. Very disappointed. We will see what the response is going to be from Capital Games. But as of now, I want to see your guys' response. At the very minimum, I can tell you, this thing's going to be dunking on Profundity. This thing's going to be dunking on Negotiators. And also all those little funny things in between. But the question is, how's the higher star Dengars looking like? Are they going to be a little bit more challenging to beat on defense? Well, you know what? I'm sure we're going to see some more higher star Dengars sometime around the corner. Folks, you know what to do. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and always remember, fix your game!
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.